Hello everyone, it's us again. I'm Raymond and this is
Dennis.
Yay! Okay, so today we will talk about this topic called behind the 2%.
2%. This is the common thing that everyone will ask. Not just agents, even consumers, clients, they will ask also.
So they always say about the debate between a commission and a fixed fee.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's been ongoing for a while.
quite a while, right? Okay, so next, this is some disclaimer on the video, right? Okay, so if you got any question, you can contact us on our details over here. Alright, let's go to the topic straight away. Okay, we are going to 3 different topics mainly. I'm breaking down the 2%, value versus fixed fee, and of course the hidden service that nobody sees. So everyone has been saying like, why is a 2% expensive like this?
Why? Why expensive? Because the amount can be seen quite a bit, and people would think that, oh, wow, quite easy, agent, come and sell my unit. Example, sell at 1.6 million and
Yes.
2% easily about 32,000.
Yes.
32,000 plus GST easily about 36,000. But you think about it, actually, this is what as a seller or as a consumer we see. Ultimately, nobody sees the work that was being done at the back end and also in the front end for agent or the team of agents that's working on your listing.
Exactly.
So a lot of people feel that, 2%, it actually can negotiate.
And usually goes down to probably 1% or probably maybe a 0.5%, right? Of course, for selling and buying, there's different percentage. The market rate should be about 2% for selling, and buying will be about probably 1%. And all these are GST payable after because to the company, not straight into our pocket.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
And of course, there will be a difference in HDB and private selling as well. So usually for HDB, your client will pay you respectively. For example, you serve the seller today, seller will pay you. And buyer will pay their buyer's agent. Whereas for private, we do a co-broking. That means sellers will pay seller agent com, right? Then a buyer's agent will co-broke with the seller agent. It can be of any percentage that they did.
We discuss.
So next, we'll talk about some case study. Alright, so you can see from this chart here, it says, imagine you're selling your flat and the agent says it's 2% commission. Your first stop will be what?
Wow, so expensive.
2% So expensive Then they will think that after all, right, don't agent just post a property guru itself. Okay, so like what they mentioned, right, if let's say you sell a HDB, usually a 4-room HDB, the old one, I think it's about 500k. 2% would be about 10,000 plus GST. So you do the math, if let's say 600k houses that you sell, is about 12,000. Of course, this 5-figure amount would be actually quite scary for a lot of the sellers. I mean, this would be actually minus off from their sales process as well. Okay, so what are the most common objection for the client itself?
I think over here, a lot of people might have buy and sell house before, not just agents also. Some of my clients, they used to do it on their own also. It's a very DIY method.
Correct.
So all they need to do is just post on 99.co, they can post on Carousel, and they started getting leads.
Not even got HDB portal.
Yeah, they can do that. This gives a lot of flexibility for sellers or even buyers to go and choose their methods to acquire or sell their new or dispose their current flat. The thing is, there are many parts of the puzzle that we need to do, not just the front part where how we can post, but also what's next. After you post already, how to deal with viewings,
Correct.
how to deal with inquiries, how to answer the clients, right? How to answer
How to qualify them as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all this qualification, all this whole process, it makes the 2% actually very little.
Yes, exactly. So later on, we will explain more why or how much is the 2% being break down into.
Yes.
And of course, why the 2% is worth it as compared to other things.
Correct.
Right?
But I met with a lot of clients and they are actually, their biggest objection is why is it the 2%?
Why not 1%?
A lot of agents or a lot of real estate salesperson in Singapore, they might have problem trying to explain that. But anyway, the thing is, we as agents, we provide value.
Yes, exactly.
Right? We can provide value, we can provide the no hassle process for you. And I have met with so many clients that when they sell their unit already with another agent, they don't want to carry on with them. And this only proves that their selling process is actually very tedious.
Correct.
It was seen much torturous compared to the standard process. So maybe we'll talk a lot more about this later.
Correct. So I think according to the expensive part, right, like what you mentioned actually is cost against value, right? Do you rather pay this 2%, right, to have a more holistic coverage by the agent?
Yep.
Or you rather just do everything on your own? The kind of stress that you want to handle, especially after a long day of work.
Correct.
The whole weekends, the whole weekday, you need to actually arrange for viewing, conduct your own viewing. Yeah, actually quite a lot of things.
Fixed fee also works if you ask me. Honestly, it works.
But it depends on really what you want.
Yeah.
Let's say you want just cheap, okay, then just go for fixed fee. But then a lot of things you are doing your own, your DIY. So I think a lot of them for fixed fee, right?
They let the sellers do the viewing themselves.
Yeah.
And I've been to a few fixed fees listings. And my buyers don't have a good impression. Not because of the house, not because of the sellers, but the whole thing just doesn't gel well
Mm.
You know, they go in, they just, okay, no, then just look around and get done.
Yeah.
So it's like wasting everyone's time, man.
Actually, at the end of the day, right, when you conduct viewings, right, do you agree that, of course, the house plays a part, but do you also agree that the agent on the spot plays a big part
Of course.
in touring the unit, in the whole vibes of probably conducting the viewing?
Yeah.
For me, you know, the most proud moment, right, when this buyer came in and I toured the unit, right, you know what they told me? Say, the house is okay, the house is fine, as compared to other units, it's fine, but I buy this house because of you. The moment they said that, I was like, wow. It's like you felt that you contributed a lot on the closing itself, right? And because of the whole vibe that they conduct the viewing, they feel at ease.
Yes.
They feel comfortable.
Yes.
They know that you are not lying to them watching it, although you are serving the seller, but they also think that it's on their best interest as well.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we agents, right, we are like the bridge between the seller and the buyer to make sure everyone has a win-win situation.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
Correct. And that being said, when buyers come into a viewing,
correct.
the storyline of the house or even the narrative of the house actually plays a big part to see whether this house or this unit can be sold.
Exactly.
Right. It's not just the decorations, it's not just the furnishings and how's the condition is like, but if there's a particular way of how your agent can make this place sound like a dream home for the buyer, then I think this agent deserves that 2%.
Exactly.
And also deserve your business for the rest of your life. Because a lot of agents cannot do that.
Mm.
Even if they do that, they might be trying, and if they try and it's successful, then we're all happy for all our same industry friends, right? But if not, then what can we do better to deserve this 2% plus to make sure that our seller is happy with engaging us? So fixed fee has its perks, 2% commission, painful initially, but I'm quite sure it's actually quite fast.
It is worth it.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of people need to understand the money you pay is actually it determines a lot of factors, but
Correct.
the most important factor I feel is speed. Yeah, really speed. We can talk more about that later.
Yes. Okay, another common objection is, right, for the client, usually they say, you agent only just post on Property Guru. But then I can ask you one question, right? In Property Guru, when you post, right, there's actually a lot of aspect there. Something like maybe the pictures that you're going to take. I've seen some listing, oh my god, the pictures are quite interesting.
Yes.
So for me personally, right, even if the seller send me the image, right, I want a good person to take. Because for agent like me, right, we have an eye for a certain angle. Ultimately, you want the unit to look good, look spacious, look bright. Okay, that is the first traction by the buyers. When they look through hundreds of listings, why would they notice your listing? That's number one. Okay, number one is the picture. Number two is your description. You don't have so many things that you're listing and all. I mean, so low, so and everything. Alright. Number three is when they contact you. Right? How do you communicate with them? I also have encountered with agents before that is it available? They reply. Call them? No. After that, it's very difficult to have the code book to work together this way.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So actually, there's more to just posting a Property Guru. In the back end, actually, a lot of things that the client will not see as well. That we actually did a lot of back end stuff.
But Property Guru is just like how you dress up for a unit, right? And ever since I started this industry, all the units I do is either I use my professional photography skills to go and shoot videos and shoot pictures and then use a lot of my time to use CapCut and TikTok to go and create, or I just spend easily 4-figure on a proper photography and videography package to make sure that this unit, when put in Property Guru and also other social media platforms or property listing platforms, right, they stand up.
Yep.
And that's why this 2% actually is to cover all these marketing costs.
Yes.
And this is just one of it, right? And every single time, the easiest way for us to qualify buyers, right, is actually through our home tour videos, through pictures.
Correct.
Right? And the moment they're okay to come down, we know we might have a deal coming through. And this money as agents, for me particularly, I feel that I will never spare a cent to make sure that a good video is out. And therefore, people can tell me, oh, hey, why don't get this photographer? Why don't get this videographer? It's only how much? Like $500, $200. I say, yeah, I know I want to give people a chance for those amateur ones. But ultimately, I need a professional one.
Yes.
Because I have my fiduciary duty plus my obligation to make sure that my seller or her units sold. So this money has to be spent.
Definitely. So you talk about marketing costs. I'm not sure if you know that for one of the countries, right, because my cousin is staying in overseas, right? So do you know that the country is the owner that absorbs the marketing costs? Be it photo, be it videos or not. It's the sellers themselves that absorb the marketing costs.
Yes.
Agent job actually is just to tour it, make it beautiful and whatnot.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. So in Singapore, I think we are quite lucky. as sellers.
They're quite lucky lah.
Yeah, the agents settle everything.
The next objection is my neighbor sold on his own.
Sure, no problem.
So a lot of times we will tell our clients you can do everything on your own. But it's the stress level that they are having, and of course things like imagine you do all the viewing, conduct everything yourself. Okay, then negotiation comes in. First thing is seller want to sell what? High, right?
Yes.
Buyer want to buy?
No.
Okay, so sometimes it also includes in a lot of emotional negotiation.
Yes.
So a lot of times they are questioning themselves. The worst thing is, let's say your couple, your husband and wife, quarrel because of this, right? There will be resulted in a lot of internal conflicts, right? And I think that maybe lowball offers as well.
Wow, same.
That means the value of the houses are not valued by the buyers. Paperwork errors, timeline issues, calculations. I think a lot of things that might resulted in quite a bad consequences in that sense.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah. So what are the other objections that we have, right? I think one of it is, why should we give exclusivity to one agent? It means usually what I call is an open listing. What do you think about it?
I actually asked for exclusive, not because I needed that for validation, but I think is a commitment, right? And this commitment goes both ways. Alright, why do I say that? Because if today I'm committed as an agent to make sure that I give my all to make sure that this seller has the unit to sell properly, hassle-free and fast, or for a buyer to buy something that they really want in the quickest time possible with proper viewings and proper negotiation techniques inside, then this exclusiveness actually make me commit to you. Plus, the buyers or the sellers will commit to us as agents by having us as the exclusive seller or exclusive buyer. And this is a very good mutual understanding, you know, because ultimately we can serve everyone. But the moment you put your trust with us, then this is where as agents we will go all out for you.
Definitely.
So the exclusive is not really to rob other agents this opportunity to work together, but rather this exclusive in my eyes or in my perspective, it is really to have each other, client and agent, to commit to each other. And this is the part which I treasure a lot, because until now every single of my buying clients and selling clients, every single one is exclusive. And I feel that having this agreement put both parties in a very good light.
It protects both parties actually.
Exactly.
Yes.
Not because we deserve or demand that 2% or the commission, but I think we would like to have that mutual respect and understanding. And that's how both parties can work very well together.
So usually why would client want to have an open listing, right? Is I think their main concern is to have more eyeball on the listing.
More eyeballs, okay.
But I mean, if you think in the different perspective, right? You have probably one agent against 4 agent marketing the listing. Okay, it could also be maybe you are desperate. Number 2 is that, okay, you can probably do open listing if the agent is bojokang one. That means they don't do work, they just post and
they never put effort lah.
Yeah, they never put effort, right? Then okay, maybe you do that is fine. But if one agent is working very hard, okay, and they keep reposting, they keep updating you, you know, give you some updates here and there, every viewing they will come and, you know, tell you a lot of things, right? I think that agent is doing their job and is doing a good job in fact.
You know, open listing, I have a particular client that was a referral from a friend of mine. They've been selling a unit in the far east of Singapore, and they've been selling it for 1 year plus. Every 3 months, they've been switching agents, and every single 3 months, there's at least 2 agents.
So what could be the issue, Dennis?
I don't know leh.
For me, if you ask me, right, in honest opinion, I would think that it could be a pricing issue.
Okay.
Right, that means it's a mismatch, okay, between seller and buyer. So actually, it really doesn't matter the agent, if you ask me. Right, that means the seller wants a price that the buyers cannot accept. So it goes by the seller psychology and the buyer psychology. If buyer cannot accept, then you just keep holding on. So you hold on until when we have to see whether any buyer able to accept this kind of price.
Before I talk over the listing, I hear from the sellers that their previous agents didn't do much. I mean, I tried. So I didn't listen much. When I tried, I did have viewings, I did have inquiries, and I went there and I did all the viewings, but ultimately they gave me a little bit longer period. They gave me about 5 months. And eventually they told me, Dennis, you can stop listing for us. I didn't ask why. Right? 2 days later, there was another agent listing the unit, and I found it's a teammate of ours. Immediately, I called that teammate. I said that, hey, this seller has this. How do you manage to find them? And they happened to find her on Property Guru, and they were out there already looking for other agents to list, you know. So during these 4 to 5 months, I actually spent a lot of money. And for video, for photos, also for marketing costs, my time and effort to manage all the inquiries and whatsoever. And they just switched me out without much notice. And when they got the fellow teammate to do it, they switched her out within 2 months. And that agent is one of the top producers in our team. So I feel... yes, we can have open listings. We don't mind. As agents, we don't mind to have open listings, but I think we need a little bit of trust and time. So you can sell it on your own. In fact, you can find fixed fee, you can just do it with reduced commission. But what we provide is not just all these common objections. What we provide is to really ensuring that the process is good.
Okay, some other common objections, right, is that the market is very hot. Unit can sell themselves. Okay, another one is I don't trust agent. I put this together is the reason why, because imagine the market is hot, unit can sell themselves. Does it mean that you don't need to negotiate?
Should negotiate on.
So it boils down to I don't trust agent, they only care about commission. I give you a very simple math, okay? You sell 2%, 500k, your commission is 10,000.
10,000.
If we agent able to help you negotiate to 510, how much does the seller earn difference? About 10,000, right?
Yes.
Do you know how much is the difference in the commission?
$100.
$200. Then after minus out the agency fee, even lesser than that. So if you ask me, right, does negotiation skills plays a big part? I think really that is. Because for us, 10,000 equates to $200 commission. If I can fit 10,000 for my client, why not? 10,000 is a lot for them. They can actually pump in for their renovation or even down payment in that sense.
Correct. One of my fellow teammates actually closed a deal. He was representing the seller and they initially wanted to just sell at 630,000. And it was a direct buyer that came. So eventually, the direct buyer came in, viewed the place for one time. It was a happy viewing. Plus, with constant follow-up, the unit was sold at 670,000.
Wow, it's crazy.
Which is 30,000 above
right?
market value.
Wow.
And at least 50,000 above targeted price.
It's crazy.
It is the highest transacted for the last 6 months until now. I'm not going to say where is it. But ultimately, the thing is, if the direct buyer has engaged an agent come in and do together, I'm very sure this buyer will not spend so much. So that's why having a licensed professional real estate salesperson is quite important.
Because we are doing day in, day out. So in a way, we will try to help our client as much as possible as well.
Correct, for sure.
Okay, next up, shall we go and look into what is inside the 2%?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Okay, so for the 2%, right, typically as client, you think, so expensive, 10 over 1,000. But essentially is break down into these 4 different parts. The marketing, the time spent, the negotiation, and the compliance part. Okay, all these 4 factors actually contributed to the wholesale of the unit. Can we miss out any one of them?
No.
Not possible, right? Okay, so let's now go and see. Okay, for marketing costs, alright, mainly is bringing support into these 3 main pointers: Property Guru and other platforms, for example 99Co, and Carousel, even Facebook as well.
Yeah, recently got also some new platforms coming out as well.
Yep. Okay, and things like social media marketing, video marketing as well. Okay, like what Dennis mentioned earlier, we have the professional photo and video shoot, staging, and even floor plans. Okay, and all these costs, right, if you run into advertisement, right, it can go up to probably $1,000.
Easily.
It's crazy, It's
Easily.
crazy. Yeah, and imagine sometimes after the 2%, you probably just break even or maybe earn slightly a little bit from there.
Probably you need 2 deals to cover
Yeah.
advertising costs.
Okay. Why does this matter, Dennis? It's because a better presentation, right? You actually attract more eyeballs into your listing. With more eyeballs, that means actually you have more viewings. More viewings, that means more offers. Then you can decide where to close from there, right? For a seller's agent, right? And usually a fixed fee agent, they won't invest much because they are being paid no matter what. And for those who invested, because we only want succeed if you succeed, right?
So over here you see that the illustrations we have on the right hand side, one of our team members did a very nice video and put it on Instagram as sponsored ads, even on Facebook. And this kind of sponsored ads, they could easily spend maybe 4 figure and above. I have a couple of teammates that spend 60 grand a month on social media marketing.
It's crazy.
60 grand a month. Right? Of course, they are also the top producers, but averagely, we will spend about 2 to 3K just for advertising. And also in that circle that you see, the spend summary, that's one of the listings that I have that I do a lot of marketing on Property Guru. And every single agent will complain that our platform marketing costs are rising, and it raised every year by easily 10%. Easily. So over here, if we are looking at just a 2 weeks marketing campaign with 288 credits, every single credit, it is about 80 cents, the cheapest we can find. But I inflate a little bit more. Every credit is $1. So for 2 weeks of marketing costs, just on this platform, I already spent 288. And this 288 only gave me about 75 impressions. Impressions meaning people only saw my listing, within 3 seconds it's dropped. And if we look at 2 views per credit, technically no one really inquired. So these are the costs that we never tell our clients, because not just the expectation, but rather we don't have to let clients know that we're already spending this much. But ultimately, we want to show you results. So all these costs, we will just take it in and we make sure that the unit is sold, or we get a unit that you really want to buy. So cost-wise, don't ask us how much we will spend, because everyone's expenditure is very different, right? Our expenditure appetite is also different. And most importantly, every kind of unit that we sell, every classification of the units that we sell also differs the kind of budget that we do. But you know, some of the friends listing I actually spend more than a landed listing.
Yeah.
Because on a personal part of things, I really want to help this friend or these friends to make sure that their unit, no matter it's a HDB or condo,
correct.
Because I know their next step, whatever their next step is, I know, and I want to plan so that they can achieve it faster. And that's why, to me, all this expenditure in marketing to help our clients to get their unit done, I think that is very, very important for me. Likewise for Raymond as well.
Yeah. Okay, so next, let's go into the time and manpower for
Wow. Time actually very
subjective.
Very immeasurable.
Actually, it's true.
Really?
Like, I mean, once actually you have a lot of clients on hand, right? Or let's say the listing is very hot. What will happen is that there will be influx of buyers coming in.
Correct.
Some may be genuine, some may be not. Then we actually have to answer all the inquiry. We have to do calls, do messages, back-to-back viewings, coordinate the viewings, or even maybe qualifying those just curious buyers.
Yeah.
Some even don't even have their HFV being done. They only go and see the houses. But I think the most critical part is the following up part. I think actually is quite crazy in terms of the number of messages that we receive.
You will receive it any time of the day. But of course, some agents will choose to reply at their convenience. But for us, for our team, we reply anytime if we are still awake.
Yeah.
As long as we are not sleeping, we'll definitely reply you.
And I think people usually underestimate the time that's being spent on all this. Yeah, actually it's quite tedious. Like some of the direct buyers that inquire my listing, right? I will ask them, hey, are you tired or not? Right? Because sometimes, for example, you are a direct buyer right now. Okay, after work, you go home and scroll on your listing. Then you contact the agent. Okay, then you yourself arrange for viewing. Okay, probably you want to save that 1%. Okay, then at times, right, they reach the location. Okay, the timing, you cancel.
Yeah, wow, sian.
So then I tell them, is it tiring or not? Number one. Number two, right? Do you actually know what price to offer? Right, then they say, oh, don't know leh. Then I ask them, is it 靠感觉? Then they say, yeah lor, true lor. Then I say, actually, there's a way for you probably have the lower risk to not pay COV, right? Or at a certain price that you can pay so that you will not be overpaying. Then they tell me, then how? Then I say, would you rather pay that 1%, example 500k, the 5,000, or will you rather pay an additional 15,000? It's very obvious in
Painful, man.
yeah, if you do the math, actually, it's very obvious. And you just have to elevate all this stress from finding a house to viewing to negotiation. Talk about negotiation. If it's not like go to the market and okay, I want cheaper by 20,000, 30,000, that kind of things, right? Sometimes also depends on whether the seller's agent, do they have any last rejected price?
Yeah.
Any threshold? Or usually when I sell my client, I would actually ask my seller, what's your price to close? Okay, then from there, we can work it out from there. And we'll ask the buyers, what's your highest they offer?
Yeah.
Because we don't want to go into a price war whereby it's not fair for all the buyers.
Correct.
Right? I'll ask them, okay, what's your budget? What we can work towards to? Or which one is more qualified towards our timeline that we're looking at? Right? All this actually is not being briefed or said to the client, because technically in a way they don't need to know. Because if you have to know so much, right, then they will start to question, is this buyer genuine? Right. Is this buyer legit already buyer? But for us is that as long as we qualify them, we're able to understand this buyer, do they have all these necessary criteria to be fit in, and the budget to what they can be paid as well. So I think all these things actually take up a lot of our time.
Yes.
And a lot of qualifying as well. And also a lot of research to be done.
A lot. People don't see.
The location, the transactions. Okay, of course we cannot predict what is the COV amount.
Yes.
But we can roughly gauge what is the threshold. Like example, if let's say we go to area offer at this price, I'll tell my buyer, you may need to prepare maybe 5 to 10,000. Alright, of course we wouldn't know until the HDB and the valuation is out.
Yes.
But at least we preempt them rather than give them a shock from there.
A lot of people don't understand the amount of time that we need to do the research that Raymond just mentioned. You know, last time when I was new, doing a research for a house that I'm going to sell on behalf of a seller, took me 4 hours. Really, no joke. Probably that time I wasn't very conversant in the apps, don't know where to look for information and whatever.
Correct.
Alright, then after I need to churn out PDF so that I can make sure that my seller understand that they need to sell at this price. Minimally, they can sell at this price and above. But what are the caveats? And also after that, we need to look at the timeline, need to adhere to their timeline so that they are happy and they are not stressful when they are moving out. So all this information actually requires a lot of time. I like to do it at night.
Where it's quieter,
Where
plus
it's
noises.
Yeah. But like I mentioned, last time I used to take about 4 hours. Right now, because we do it a lot of times with a very strong Pronex apps as well.
Yes,
You know, investment suite, business suite, and every information is like at our fingertips.
Yeah.
We really don't have to go into other platforms
Yep.
to find and snitch all this information out. It's at our hands, and immediately I still take about an hour and a half because I really put my heart and soul, just like Raymond and everyone else in our team, is that we make sure that the information and the expectations are correct and met, so that the moment we receive an offer that is good for the seller, I think we are ready to move on.
Exactly.
So a lot of people don't see that. And honest truth, time is actually subjective because everyone's time is worth different amount of dollars.
Exactly.
Okay. But the same thing happens to everyone, is that we only have 24 hours. Right. Every minute we spend on something, every hour we spend on a buyer or a seller, we have to make sure that it really works.
Definitely.
And bluntly, yes, ROI matters, but we want the ROI where we connect with our clients emotionally, and we make sure that they have our support to ensure whatever we are doing is in their interest.
And we also make sure that the money that they paid is really worth it.
Of course.
Right. Otherwise, they wouldn't be engaging us as well.
Yes.
Okay, so next up, let's move into the most important among the four, which is the
Negotiation.
Okay, this is where the big money is won or lost. Okay, because this is essentially, I wouldn't say who win the battle. It's like I told you, like if let's say you are serving a seller, I'm a buyer's agent. Our job is to ensure that we're able to close
Yes.
and make sure both party wins.
Yes.
It won't be a party whereby only seller win, then buyer not happy, right? So it comes to the point, it will become quite ugly. Example, you are a seller agent, I'm a direct buyer. I come in, I don't know how to negotiate. Then they keep telling me, I only want this price. Then it's very difficult to even reach as well.
Correct.
Yeah, I think especially when handling lowball offers, I think a lot of direct buyer, they will tend to do that because maybe it's budget issue, or maybe they probably will not know how to manage this whole thing. Example, maybe the listing is 550k, or they'll go down to 500k. I think it's quite difficult, right? If let's say the buyer has an agent, they probably will not do that. They will speak to an agent and ask them, is there any prices the owner is looking at?
Yes.
Or is there any amount that we can be offering so that the owner will be accepting or may consider? I think there's rather respect given to the seller itself.
Yes.
Then I think some of the pointers also quite challenging for buyers as well, direct buyers. Example, creating a bidding competition, or we call it a price war. I think that is quite crazy. Yeah, because essentially the buyers, right? Like there's a saying, 你死都不懂你将死. That means you die already, you also don't know how you die. That means straight away you put an offer, next thing the seller will tell you, okay, your offer is rejected and we close the deal with another person. And you don't know what's the amount. I think that's quite sad because you don't even know whether your offer is close to the closing price or not. And in fact, if let's say you can offer another 5,000 more, you probably close the price, right? So I think this communication is very important between the agents itself, or the seller and buyer's agent, and knowing when to post or when to concede the offer. So I always tell my buyers, I'll tell them that, okay, we will offer this price. At what price will we walk away? That means this deal we cannot buy, we have to walk away and look for other unit, no choice. Okay, because if you are paying anything more than this, right, I think it's not worth it, number one. Number two, you have an issue exiting in the future.
Yes.
So we always look at 3 steps ahead rather than just current transaction itself or the current buying. We always look at maybe 5 years later, can you exit? Or even now current 4 years later for private, whether you can exit at this price, right? If let's say anything that you offer more, of course maybe sometimes it will be the record breaking price, which is not good for the buyers, right? But more importantly, can you exit in the future? Usually we use about maybe 20 to 30% of a profit margin to determine whether should they walk away from there. So in another way is that a lot of DIY clients, right, they will tend to have too much emotions. If let's say they are negotiating themselves, right, then that's very difficult because when the emotions set in, it will become to a point, sometimes the worst case scenario, they don't want to sell or they don't buy anymore.
Correct.
Right. I've spoken to a direct buyer. I asked him, because he went to come and see my unit, right? Then I asked him, how long have you been looking for a flat? Tell me, 6 months. Imagine every week you arrange for viewing.
Yeah.
Every week see 3-4 houses. Every week kena rejected. That one is what they call it, the metal heart. Every week kena rejected, still go and go. So you see, there's a way to actually offer a unit. There's a strategy to do it. There's a way to look at what price to offer. Rather than you just go, then every time keep getting rejected.
Yes.
You must understand how much stress and how tired is it to keep going on again and again. So eventually I told him that, why not you engage me, we can work out some plans. Within 2 weeks we close the deal. So for us is that we know how to do it. We know how to help you filter. We know how to help you actually narrow down the search so that you don't search everywhere, right? Typically how will direct buyers do? They will do a location that they want. They do the price, they filter, then they press starting from lowest price. Very typical. Then after that you see from the picture. But from there, do you know what's a value buy? You don't know.
You don't know.
You just see what's the cheapest. Of course, cheapest, sometimes you might get a good cap. But sometimes you're just following the motion. And the good listing maybe on the page 3, page 4, which is probably maybe 80 units later. By the time you reach there, you feel what? We call it fatigue.
You won't scroll there anymore. By the time you really see something, you'll be too tired, then you just forgo already.
Exactly. And I also ever helped this direct buyer went to find a house before. So I say, this weekend we arrange how many you want. He tell me, arrange as many as possible, everyone. I'm okay, I'm ready. The fire is very, very big.
I see where this is going.
Then after that, I say, okay, no problem. I arranged 8 units back to back. So about, I think, 3 to 4 hours time spent. The first unit, hey, let's go, man, let's go. By the time the third unit, ribbon, the last 4 cancel for me. 看来看去都是一样。
Yeah.
So we also brief them after that. I say that actually you must understand when you buy a house, right? You buy into a 4-wall concept. What it means by 4-wall concept means when you go into the house, sometimes the house can be very cluttered. But you must understand when you buy this house, it's supposed to be an empty house. The owner is supposed to remove any fittings at all. Only the fixtures are remain. So it's actually a buy into a 4-wall concept. Yeah. Then after that, within 2 weeks we close. Very fast one. Sometimes even I ever client 1 day 3 viewing we close already because I know what they want very clearly, right? And I filter according to what they need. Imagine their budget.
That's important.
Their requirement, their timeline. As well, if you are doing a sell by timeline, is very important.
Yes.
If you are pure buying, it's fine, right? So everything is being said that, and once we download up to the 3 units, straight away I say 3 units, which one I like the most? Okay. You confident? You want this one? I offer. Even offer negotiation. There's a certain set of skills to do.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that one is not say a trade secret, but that one you engage me, then we'll let you know. So once offer is being done up, right? The fact is that we will have very good relationship with the condo agent, and we'll know what price to close. And immediately from there, we'll close very, very easily. Sometimes it may take a few hours for them to speak to their clients. Then for us to in a way condition our clients.
Yes.
What is the price that we can close, or what is the highest that we can go for? Then that's where for us to negotiate with the condo agent as well. I think the negotiation part is the most important throughout the whole 4 different components. What do you think?
I think other than negotiation, the part about negotiation is that we can create a very safe space.
Correct.
A safe space between agent and agent to really be very open about each other's clients' expectations.
Exactly.
And this safe space, if you are a direct buyer or a direct seller,
they won't tell you one.
Exactly.
Because why? For them, they want to act the best interest of their client. For example, today you are the seller agent, I'm a buyer. Your seller want to close 10k more, but you won't tell me.
Correct.
Right? Because for me, I want the lowest price possible. Yes. So that creates a gap between the sellers and the direct buyers.
So when this gap actually creates a lot of highest transacted listings in Singapore.
Correct.
Right. And I'm happy for the seller agent. I'm also happy for the buyer. But I'm only thinking, because we are so trained and engineered into our blood veins about what's our client's exit strategy. So when it comes to exit strategy, how are you going to exit out? Right. And if you're a buyer, maybe you'll be like thinking, why did I buy in the first place? What if I have an agent?
That sets in on the emotional regret. Maybe on the spot you feel because you felt that you done the deal. After when you settle down, then you start to think that oh no, what have I just done?
Yeah. And I think reality will set in when it's on Yahoo, on Google.com. Right. And I do have a couple of clients that actually went off to buy without me. And I actually offered them a lot of advice, look at this, look at that, before you go there. And eventually, when I kind of got a little bit busy and they were out there shopping on their own, next moment I saw on their Facebook stories and Instagram posts that their unit that they bought is on hprop.com, highest transacted for the past at least 1 year. And when I saw the article, I just candidly asked them, is this yours? They say, yeah, okay. I hope this is a good buy for you. And they replied, yeah, I think we made a choice and we are ready to pay.
But in that few sentences, right, we made a choice and we're willing to pay. Actually, there's a lot of emotions in it.
It's an emotional purchase. It is not a logical purchase. I think going to the market, buying a car can be emotional.
Exactly.
Because all these things you buy already, you can consume, right? You buy already, you can dispose easily. But with the current policies set in place for real estate in Singapore, you buy already, you need to hold at least 4 to 5 years.
4 to 5 years.
And these 4 to 5 years, you're paying mortgage.
Yep.
You're paying bank interest. You are trying to let the post-buying regret
emotions
set in.
Correct.
And you need to live with it for the next 5 years.
Yes.
I can't even live with a regret for the next 12 hours, not to say 5 years in this case, right? So I really hope that anyone that is listening to this post, to this podcast, please find someone you trust to talk about your next purchase or
plans,
your next sale. Because we have at least 30,000 agents in Singapore. 35,000. We have at least 15,000 agents in Protex. You just need to throw a stone. I'm quite sure someone will be willing to help you. And make sure when this person tells you something or this agent tells you something, you are aligned with it and you need to make sure that you all can work together.
Exactly. I think
Because
that's
it's
very
not-
important in the communication part.
Yes,
Yeah, I think it's also best to be transparent as well.
correct. And if this agent and this client are aligned, then it's very obvious and it's very clear cut that the negotiation skills will be good.
Agree?
Because with an agent, dealing with an agent, that safe space is there, right? But if you are just doing DIY, then that safe space, you can never have it. Even though you were previously a licensed agent, or even though you are a property investor, very savvy with all this real estate stuff, even though you deal with many transactions, trust us. Going through the exam and going through our industry daily practices, plus our ethics and our training that we are being given, nothing can prepare a direct buyer to have the best purchase.
Okay, so let's move up to the next component, which is the compliance.
Compliance is also a big headache. It's actually one of the biggest things that I struggled in the initial part. So many things to learn. Right? I thought when I passed my RS exam, I got everything in my fingertips.
Right.
But the moment I went into actual practice, I only have 2 words. 高辣. Yeah, because there are so many things to remember, right? And also there's a lot of different situations that our clients have. And these different situations need to adhere to different policies, whether is it a private resale, selling, or even a HDB. And even with HDB and private guidelines, right, still need to abide by law firms, depending on what they can do, what they cannot do. Banks can do this, bank cannot do that. So all these rules and regulations and requirements are very essential.
I think regarding the rules and regulation, and I think they also have a lot of different profile of buyers. For example, we have divorce cases, we have single buyer, we have the youngest buyer unable to meet the 95-year ruling. So all this actually is into the financial part, whereby are they clear on how to manage part? Because if you're not clear, what comes about is that at the end of the completion, right, or maybe when you come to endorsement, then the financial plan will be out.
Yes.
So when the financial plan is out, right, what could possibly happen? Example, direct buyer comes in. They're not sure about the example stamp duty, or maybe inclusive of the maybe 95 ruling the youngest buyer.
Yeah.
They cannot fulfill what happen. Your CPF and your loan will be prorated. And when these both being prorated, what happens is that you have to come up more cash, right? Or even CPF as well, right? Then essentially it may become to a point, the consequences is that they may not be able to complete the transaction because they don't have money.
Very, very sad.
Then this will actually affect the whole, not just the direct buyer himself, the whole ecosystem. Example, the seller that sell the house and the seller that bought another house. Imagine the snowball effect. They can release up to 3-4 parties. And you know what this could happen? This will happen to a claim towards the direct buyer from the whole, because like a car accident, right? Example, 4 cars. The 4th car last will claim the 3rd car. 3rd car will claim the 2nd car. 2nd car will claim the 1st car. For buying house is the same. So it's actually quite scary. If let's say you are afraid, I think best that you either, if a different buyer or seller, best that you check carefully, right? Or if let's say you can engage an agent, I think that would be best. This also to protect themselves as well. And mistake like that can cost time and money and delay in key collection or even penalties. I have one of these direct buyer friend. He went to do a direct buy himself. So one day he Facebook messaged me, saying, Raymond, I need advice. So then he went to buy himself as a direct buyer. Seller agent only dropped the OTP everything, so exercise everything, right? But the fact is that I'm not sure what's the back end process like. But subsequently, the seller agent said, I don't want to sell the house already. I refund you all your 5K.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Then he said, no, I want to have this house. I don't care. They went to court. This case dragged for 6 months. Okay, and finally the buyer got compensation. But then imagine how much stress. He eventually bought another house, not the same house.
Okay.
Imagine how much stress he have.
6
months, right? And that really affect his work.
Imagine every few weeks you need to go court.
Correct.
Then before you go court, you need to prepare.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, engage a lawyer some more, additional cost. So if let's say in the first place he engaged an agent, right, and do everything strictly for him, he won't end up in this. So I asked him, why you never engage me? He said he want to save cost. I thought, okay, yeah. Then I asked him, then now do you save cost?
I think it's a
spend more cost.
Yeah, same more.
Yeah.
In fact, double or triple. Easily, right? But this is a very common understanding for many DIY sellers or buyers. As much as we want to help you, and we know you're not going to pay the cost, but do also understand there are a lot of moving parts. Right from you decided to buy a house or sell a house until the completion there.
Correct.
Then sometimes for HDB, right, you still got extension there.
Correct.
So this whole thing can easily
up to 7 months.
or even more.
Even more, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you think about it, 7 months of work, you divide by the commission that you have. Every month, I'm just getting a full-time pay.
Yeah.
Alright. So the fact that saving costs, sometimes if you don't know how exactly to navigate every single regulation or compliance-wise, it can be very tough.
Exactly.
Especially when it comes to HDB. Timing is of an essence.
Yep, definitely.
I happened to meet a seller that was sharing with me that their previous case got into a lawsuit because the flat that they bought, they wanted extension. Okay, they wanted extension and they were represented by agent. The buyer agent told the direct seller, say, we need extension. Okay, done. Agreed in WhatsApp, but no paperwork. So by the time option ready, evaluated, exercise. So 5K given, right? Then want to submit for the resale online, cannot go through because one side submitted without extension.
One side submitted.
The other side submitted with extension. Then in the end, the bill was dropped because in the end, the seller back up. Say that I never approve. I don't agree.
So it boils down to words against words. That means the paperwork was not being done properly in that sense.
So now my client becomes very bitter. Not because they didn't get the house, because they know this agent did the job. But the other side didn't manage to fulfill, and they are stuck at a place, at an emotional state where they want to move on to another new place because they might have another similar experience. You know, all these little things that people don't see, we also don't say much. But if we have coffee or we can have a chat, when we share all these stories with you all, actually we see a lot of such lapses or mishaps in property purchase or selling. That is why both of us are very motivated to actually share this in person or even a little bit through our social media, just to let everyone understand, actually with us, you're much safer, much safer.
So mainly there are the 4 components that contributed to the 2%. But how do you actually spice up the sale of a property? That means, how do you essentially create a better value of the property?
Actually, I think impression really counts.
Impression counts. Shall we go and do it?
Really, man? Must tell people our secret trick.
Let's share. Okay, so Dennis, do you think picture A or picture B will sell better?
Picture B, for
Why?
sure. Impression counts.
Impression counts. Okay.
Impression really counts.
Okay. Have you went to a client house that actually like picture A over here?
I've been to worst.
Oh, you've been to worse? How worse?
How worse? The fan has a lot of dust.
I mean, that's normal.
Normal, huh?
So you said the fan dropped down.
No, I haven't. The fan has a lot of dust. The dust is not grey colour, it's black. You know the typical kopitiam.
It's a haunted house.
No. The typical kopitiam fans on top you see. Then after that you have all the black. I have that kind of fans in this particular client's house. Then never mind. They are pet lovers. Just one dog. But then the dog fur is at every single corner of the house and is in stack. It's not just one small list. Last but not least, all the kitchen cabinet doors, you go and see, it's perfect. The moment you open one, the panel drops.
So the main thing is what? Don't open.
Okay, I want to open. Why? Because I'm quite well trained by some of my team members to look at all these intrinsic stuff.
Details.
Correct?
Yes.
So the first thing I check is to open up, not to see what's inside, to see whether the panel can be opened smoothly and whether got soft closing or not. But then when I realized, when that thing opened, it dropped. Luckily, it didn't land on my toe. But I realized something. All the hinges are rusty. And now we are not talking about just outside. We're talking about inside also.
Correct.
So actually, yes, I've been to houses like that.
So in this sense, right, what do you think the buyer that kind of view, how would they feel?
Should turn off, definitely turn off.
Even sometimes before even entering into the
Correct.
state, right?
Yeah.
So usually what I'll do, right, I tell my clients as a seller, when doing the viewing, I hope the place can be neat and tidy, decluttered. And then also additional some stuff is that I hope you can on some jazz music.
No, for sure.
On the aircon.
Hey, don't say it.
Yes.
These are good things that we will do to make sure buyers come back, they feel comfortable.
Correct. And they will essentially have a good experience with
Yes.
Because the buyers, right, they actually see 3 or 4 houses or even 10 houses, like some of the buyers, right, for one whole day. Trust me, by the 3rd house, they don't remember what's the first house. So unless you give a very good impression in their mind.
Correct.
Okay, let's see some examples for this.
So on the left hand side is a 1-room condo and they have 3 people living in this particular unit. The picture that I take here right now doesn't seem as cluttered as it's supposed to be because they already cleared up before I came. And I was ready for a photo shoot. And I was doing it on my own. And I do have a little bit of photography skill sets. So hence, we spent about 4 hours taking the whole condo to make the picture on the right turn out the best picture they ever had for this particular unit. So you see between the left and the right one, I think it's very obvious. The one on the right feels very welcoming. You come in, wow, straight away, enter the kitchenette after the main door, and then you see the balcony. From the balcony, you actually see unblocked view, correct? But on the left, you come in and be like, 为什么东西这样乱? Why is it so messy? Why got so many things here? And as I have always mentioned, first impression counts. And this first impression, the moment the buyer doesn't want to come in or doesn't stay long in your unit that we wanted to sell, then I think we really lost half the battle.
Correct. I think it's very clear that when a buyer comes in, it's all about experience.
Yes.
And what you can give to them is the unit itself. But how the agent actually deliver the presentation is very important.
Yes.
Imagine it's so cluttered. Even the agent want to beautify this whole viewing experience is also very difficult.
Correct.
Just now we mentioned about a fixed fee agent
Yes.
and those commission agent. So we always talk about value versus cost. So in this case, right, like what you mentioned, the fixed fee agent usually they don't conduct viewing. They allow the seller to do it.
Yes.
Of course, seller or maybe the client themselves, they so comfortable with all these places already. It's their own house. They say, oh, 你要来看你看咯, 你要see咯. But as an agent, we will advise what can be done to gain you another 5 to 10k more in your offer. And ultimately, it's the viewing experience, like if you ask me.
So when it comes to value versus cost, disclaimer, nothing against any of the agents in Singapore. Okay, whether you're doing fixed fee or you're doing 2% agent or you are maybe a more than a 2% agent. But most importantly is the value. Because the value that we as professionals giving to our clients, I think that is worth any amount, or should I say worth an amount that some people just think that it is suited. But when it comes to fixed fee agent, I have this particular story that I was bringing a buyer that's very close to me. We have a good rapport and I actually brought him to a few listings over the last 2-3 weeks. We went to this particular unit that is a fixed fee agent. Okay, and I just messaged them and say, hey, I want to see this unit. My buyer is this. Can we go here? After that, all he did was give me the unit number, tell me that, okay, seller will be there. Seller will be showing you the unit. I said, okay, fine, so be it. So I went there. The house, the unit was very nice. Unblocked view, and it is at west side. So you can practically see Chinese Garden.
Wow.
Off the balcony. The whole place well renovated. So it's a moving condition. No need to spend anything on renovation. And all the nitty-gritty stuff, intrinsic details, right, all good and done. But when I went in, it was very awkward. I went in with my this jacket. I said, hey, hi, hello, I'm Dennis here, and this is my buyers. We just come in and see the unit, okay? Then after they say, okay, yeah. Then they just sit down at the dining table. Keep quiet, black face, okay? And this is awkward because my buyers are very sensitive towards people's energy or impression. And they really like the unit. But they went out of the house within 5 minutes. Really wasted. Okay. And this unit is marketing below market value, but they don't want. But it checks all their boxes. And you know what my buyer tells me? This unit is very awkward. Why is the agent? This was the first question he asked me. I told him, not everyone engage agent. Number 2, he asked me, why the sellers look so angry? They should be happy when someone is here to view the house.
Correct.
So I didn't answer that question. But to be honest, that was the last time I heard from the fixed fee agent. So he didn't even bother to follow up with me. But I just messaged him. I say, thank you for your time. I hope your unit gets sold. So that's about it.
So ultimately, I think we also have to see what's the difference between a fixed fee and the percentage commission agent lah. I think for the con side is that it's cheaper, but it's riskier. Of course, with a commission agent, you have higher result in terms of your selling price.
Yes.
Right. So the fixed fee agent, they don't conduct viewings, right? So everything is fast. They want volume.
They do have really a lot of volume though.
Right, because it's cheap.
Yeah, affordable lah.
Correct. I mean, affordable is the wrong word. But the thing is that whether is it the best interest of the seller, that one we also not sure also. So ultimately, we will decide on our own, but we will probably think that outcome-based focus agent would be more inclined for the seller, like if you ask me.
If today your incremental capital gain for you selling your unit is more than the commission, I feel that is an option that you can consider to have a really good agent that can provide value to you.
So now let's say, why would a full service agent probably have a hedge against a fixed fee agent in the sense? Our thing usually is because of how we repackage the property, usually with professional videos, photos, and probably the staging part. So if unit is empty, right, is a bare unit, usually I'll do staging for the client.
Okay.
I will probably put a nice bed, a kitchenette, or even a bed, a sofa in the living room, cabinets, to allow the buyer to visualize how they are like when they live inside the unit. Correct. How would they feel sitting down here, sitting at the balcony, going to the kitchen, have some breakfast, sitting at the dining table, have a view, maybe walk into the master bedroom and see this is where you sleep.
Yes.
How do you feel?
Yeah.
Right, because ultimately is what you feel. You can have a 10,000 criteria, but if you go in, you don't feel like it, you won't buy. Or like what you mentioned in the earlier case study. And of course, with that said, right, I would think the full service agent will have a stronger marketing pitch. We probably use a bit of paid ads, probably use a product launch as well, and multiple exposure maybe like our own Instagram, Facebook, carousel, this will create more eyeball and essentially create more demand as well.
Correct.
Okay, and with more eyeball being said, right, this usually attract more buyers.
Yeah, more people will be willing to come and view.
Correct, and this create I wouldn't say a price war, but more of a healthier competition within buyers, right? So when they compete, right, some will low balls.
Yeah.
But those really genuine, they actually will try to raise up to the offers that the seller wants as well. So it essentially boils down to the outcome more than the cost.
Yes.
Right? So the commission fee is not the real story. Okay, the outcome is.
But back to time. Is agent's time more important or more expensive than a seller's or buyer's time?
I think it's very hard to measure it.
It's very hard to measure, but you see, if today we can help a seller to sell the unit fast, they can move on faster to the next destination or next plan. Isn't it money saved, right? Secondly, for a buyer to buy a place within a short span like your case, 1 day or 1 weekend, right?
1 and 6 months.
Compared to the other 6 months.
Okay, so timing that you mentioned, right? So what happened is that what you can buy now and what you can buy 6 months later,
Wow,
that's a price
big
difference.
difference.
Price difference.
Big difference.
So I told my client once he bought a 3-room at Yishun, I think at 388,000.
Okay,
Now you go and find Property Guru, mostly 90% is 400 and above.
for sure.
So imagine you wait for 6 months, you are paying about at least 12,000 more. Sometimes budget limited, right? You can buy, become cannot buy.
True. Yeah, and this case is very example. One of my clients 3 years ago wanted to buy a 1.3 million condo. In the end, 3 years later, he can only buy a 1.3 million EC. And that's a whole lot of difference. Because last time the SSD was 3 years.
No.
MOP is 5 years. So that 2 years of time, how much costs the gap?
Okay, so let's now see what are the things that people don't see. Okay, people only thought agent do listing and viewing. But let me tell you, okay, you only see the tip of the iceberg. Anything below the water, you really don't see one. For example, crisis handling. I tell you, so essentially it's like a crisis management. So all the time, it's like buyer backout. Okay, recently I got a case at Jalan Bukit Merah, 3-room flat. Okay, valuation out, buyer back out. Then buyer tell me they not enough CPF to pay there. I say, you never calculate properly. After that, my seller take the 1,000. No? But the lucky thing is that straight away as agent, we know what to do.
Yes.
We straight away connect to the previous buyer or straight away remarket again.
Yes, correct.
Right, so that we can, in the fastest possible time, find the next buyer that comes in.
Correct.
I think another thing is managing buyer's agent, right? Sometimes, or direct buyer itself lah.
So actually, managing buyer agents is also one of our essential things that we need to do, especially when we are representing sellers. Because ultimately, there will be direct buyers, there will be also buyers engaging agents to kind of speak, right?
Correct.
So I would like to bring us back to our topic just now, the safe space.
Correct.
That safe space actually requires a lot of trust. And this trust is hidden because we know all of us in the same industry and we are ready to make things work on both ends. Okay, if today you are not having an agent to represent you while you're buying something, you are being pressured, you are being convinced in a way to say that this is the unit to go. And last night, as we speak, I actually met a common friend that was being pressured to buy a potential en bloc condo in the East.
No.
And his first question to me is, Dennis, can I buy this? Why is this agent keep pushing me to buy that? And these are the little things that direct buyers will not see. So therefore, allow us to do our job because we know what it takes to become a good agent.
So the next thing is, if let's say you are a seller yourself, right? Main thing is, do you know actually how to price your listing?
Actually difficult
Difficult or why?
When I was trying to sell my HDB, I really thinking how to sell.
So share your small experience, how?
I just anyhow put the number. I put the selling price in carousel as the price that I want, right? Then I think after 2 weeks, why got people ask but no one comes?
So you see, the price that you want, right? How do you determine this price?
I just like the number 688.
Okay, do you do a lot of research?
I did a little bit of research. And I just used the last transaction, highest transacted. That's about it.
Then you want to be higher than them.
Then only be higher than them. The last highest was 650.
Correct. So that's what every seller's dream lah. But usually I would not advise my client that. Of course, if let's say this unit is superb unit, for example, it's 100% unit, it means to say what? High floor, good view, no blockage, no corridor, corner unit, and everything is really matches everything. Okay, then I can say you can go for record price. But I think it's more of the common units. Okay, renovation is fine, maybe a mid floor to a low floor, corridor unit. Then I think we have to be a bit realistic on our pricing strategy because ultimately, why we want to sell price? Because there's a reason. We want to either move into a better location or near our parents, near our work, near our school. There's a certain reason that you want to sell and buy. Right. So the longer you drag in your selling, the longer you will be able to buy as well. So that will result in the whole ecosystem on how do you want to price it. Yeah, I think that's very important, Dennis.
Thank God I became an agent.
So I think ultimately an agent will know how to. For me, I don't sugarcoat with my client. If they tell me a price also, I say, can, you can post, I can post. But I ask you one question, how long you want to wait? What's your timeline like?
Waiting time is a cost.
So if they tell me, Raymond, I got only 2 months, 3 months, I want to buy fast, then we must be realistic on what is the strategy like as well. I think a lot of agents don't dare to say no to their client. And that's also one of the more critical part that I think agents have to improve as well. Sometimes you have to be truthful. Not say you are smearing their thoughts or what, but I think you have to be honest in what they are looking at as well.
Ultimately, it's expectation management.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, okay, so next, the last part, I think we do a bit of summary. Okay, when you're hiring a full service agent, right, you're not paying for someone to post just an ad. Okay, you're actually investing in a strategy that they actually bring the best price, okay, that avoid costly mistakes. I think ultimately when money is involved, right, a lot of things we must be very sure, okay, and save you for the months of stress, maybe planning and all that. At the end of the day, right, the 2% that you paid for, actually it's an investment. Okay, a good agent will make sure that investment pays you back many times.
Yep.
Okay, in terms of maybe your exit strategy, or even they plan for you the next few things that you're going to buy as well.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so the next topic, we'll be talking about exclusive versus open listing.
This
okay?
is my favorite topic.
Yes, okay. So it's either you commit to one or you're scattered with many. Right? The truth will reveal in the next episode. If not, I think now if you have any question, please contact here. If not, we'll see you in the next video. See you. Bye.